afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Embassy RV live from the VanFest at Cape Cod. You folks know this character. Terry, say hello to the folks.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
Terry is comfortably ensconced in his Cape Cod, in Cape Cod at the VanFest at the Cape. Try and say that 3 times fast.
That's about as much Cape Cod as you can get, I think.
Just some lobster and shrimp sauce, please. That's all I need. Terry, thanks for being here. We've talked about this over the last few months and thought it'd be fun to come at you from the VanFest live. I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida, where it's hot and humid. Terry's up in Massachusetts, and you left Elkhart a few days ago? Is that right?
Yeah, I left Tuesday morning. Actually, got here later in the day, Wednesday. You gotta love construction this time of year in the north, by the way. So it's everywhere. But yeah, we got here, and then when I got here, Thursday was just torrential rains and just constant. And then today's just beautiful. It's not a cloud in the sky and probably 75 degrees, and you just can ask for better weather.
That is so nice. What's it drop to in the evening?
High 60s? Actually gets into the high 50s. It got a couple of times. So yeah, it can get a little cooler. You're surrounded by the ocean up here, and I'm sure it's deep water off the coast of Cape Cod, and so it's actually like a natural air conditioning system.
Yeah, 100%. And when I think of Cape Cod, I think of lobster, crab, and lighthouses. Is there any 3 of those around you besides a bunch of vans?
They're not around me. I'm hoping the food trucks tomorrow will be lobster. I've already found a lobster place if they don't have it that I'm going to the minute I leave here. Absolutely.
That's so cool. Let's just kind of remind the folks we see some familiar faces in here and some new faces. We're going to say hi to everybody. We have a little bit of an agenda, not too hard, because Terry's going to give us a tour of the rig he's in, which I understand Terry has a customer associated with it now. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. I believe they're watching live during the podcast and seeing their new vehicle here that we brought. So it's the coastal sand interior with the caribou brown and white exterior. So it's a beautiful soft brown colors. So you can see it in the background here. I got the accent lights lit up, and I'm sitting at the dual recliner sofa, and I've got a manufactured phone holder up on the front seats as I swivel them around.
I'm a guy and he normally has his Surface tablet, and we're running off his phone this time, so that's why the a vertical orientation. So, but it does look beautiful. This color schemes are just getting really popular. Some are wild, some are subdued, and some are just right in the middle. Awesome, which is great. Let me kind of show, if you can stand by 1 second, Terry. So this is our question format. We'll say hi to everybody here, but if you have a specific question you want to get answered by Terry, if you can help us out, or by me for that matter, 3 question marks. That'll get your questions seen and answered more quickly. And then if you have a comment that must be discussed and shown, this is the format, 3 exclamation points. As you know, Embassy RV builds not only the Cape Cod B+ on a cutaway transit chassis, but a very compelling thermodynamic living quarters on the back, but they also make vans on the Transit, ProMaster, and Sprinter. So there's kind of the difference there. We're going to kind of focus on the Cape Cod today. And if you're looking to learn more about Embassy RV, whether you're kind of new to this or you've been around it a while, or you're looking for ways to connect with owners, there's a number of ways here, Terry, including your website, embasssrv.com, my website. You guys have camp out events, right? Just had one in June. And then the Embassy Owners and Wannabes, which is not a corporate situation, but that's more of just owners, which is pretty cool, monitored by some of the folks in the chat today. So you got a good support family behind you.
It's absolutely an incredible support family. I mean, we just can't say enough about the just how much everybody takes care of each other, talks to each other, helps each other, and just visits with each other and has a great time as they travel.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. If you do reach out to Embassy, this helps us keep working together. Just mention my name, Scott Watson, Go Small, Live Large there on their forum. They're really responsive at Embassy. You don't go into a black hole of email, right, Terry? You actually get a reply to the customer, which is pretty cool.
Yep, I reply to most of them, Michaela and I. Um, so yeah, if people are surprised when they come in and do a factory tour or a pickup day, uh, I do it with them and they think we'd have somebody else. So we still try to be hands-on and work with everybody directly. And yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then I wanted to alert. We're going to have Terry tell us about the Cape Cod VanFest here in just a second. But I want to let everybody be aware that this Sunday we're going to do a YouTube live stream on wildfire. Wildfires are it's that time of year, and we had a Patreon called Terry a Zoom last weekend, and most of the people in the audience had some degree of experience with wildfires. So we're going to share some of that experience. I'm going to share 2 apps that folks are using, and we're going to talk about safety RVing during wildfire season 2025. So join us for that on Sunday, this Sunday, just a couple days away, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I saw Gary in here, and I'm really excited. Next Friday, we're going to have Gary and Patty, owners of the Embassy RV Dolphin. I think they've been full-time, Terry, 2 years now in their rig. They're going to come in and tell us their story, do a live Q&A, and talk about their awesome Embassy RV. So we are alive and well, even though Go Small, Live Large is taking a little bit of a pause for the summer. We are bringing it on strong. So just thanks again for being here, Terry.
And we also have a brand new website being developed right now. So it's getting close to unveiling. So we're working with a new company that will have some amazing new features and rebuilding the whole Embassy RV website from the ground floor up. So that'll be exciting too. It'll be more interactive. There'll be a lot of really cool features in this new program that we're unveiling soon.
It's a big project, websites. People kind of take them for granted. And even though they've been around for a while, there's still a lot of work and a lot of thinking before you start working. It's so you got a lot of hats on these days. So congrats. So I'm going to put this up on the screen, Terry. Just kind of give us a little overview. So you rolled into the Escape to the Cape. It started yesterday technically, but the big days are this tomorrow and Sunday. If you've been to the VanFest in Florida, which happens in the spring, just kind of let us know what you've seen, what you've felt, some of the folks you've talked with, and kind of your thoughts. Then we'll kind of get into the some of the Cape Cod specifics, the van.
Sure. So, you know, any of these festivals like this, whether it's Peace, Love, and Vans, VanFest, and the different ones that we go to, you know, you see a variety of vehicles, everything. There's a Transit Connect out here that has more gadgets on it than any vehicle I've ever seen on a little vehicle. We've got school buses. We've got Cutaways on Mercedes that's right next to me. That's just a huge wooden vehicle that we'll talk about a little more later. But I do, as I talk to folks, and some of them are sharing this with me and want to share with audiences, not everybody is aware of GVWs and what they mean and how important they are, because there's a good part of the hand-built units here that are over GVWR, and that then becomes a safety issue. So that's one of the things we'll get into a little bit, and sometimes I'm talking 4,000 pounds over, not just 100 pounds. So you know that's something as any buyer out there needs to be aware of. There's a reason for GVWR ratings because it's testing that is considered a weight that the vehicle's safe to control and maneuver and stop and do all the things you need to do sometimes. And if you're way over or even over, that becomes possibly a hazard. So, you know, I'm seeing a lot of that here.
And how's the group? Friendly folks and all manners of life and
Oh, yeah.
I heard some people rolling in still, and there's probably and the day guests start tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, day guests are this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. There's still people rolling in, getting set up today, but it's getting pretty full. You know, they've got I would imagine there's 130, 150 vehicles here right now, spread out all over. So it's pretty good size.
That's really big, actually.
Yeah.
That's bigger than the one in Florida, I'm pretty sure.
And this is his first year doing this here in Cape Cod, so I think he's going to be really happy with the outturn. I mean, he's pretty much filling this whole area that he has here, and it's 2 zones, one up the hill and one down here, and it's getting pretty full.
That's cool. Well, we'd like to see more of these East Coast events. There's so many of the adventure van things that are on the West Coast and the Colorado, Utah area. So it's really nice to see some of this. There's a lot of people that live in the East Coast, right? Okay, my cats are getting wound up. So if I have to shoot them, I'm not yelling at you, Terry, or the folks. So let's say hi to some folks, and then we're going to, and Terry's going to give us a little bit of a tour. We're kind of jostling this a little bit because he's got this MacGyver system holding his phone steady. So we'll say hi to some folks, get some questions answered, and then we'll have you give us a little tour, Terry, and then I'll share a few things as he resets his phone so we can see outside. But let's say hi to some folks, and there's a few of them that are just literally a few feet away from you here. We've got Roads of Life in the house, so thank you, Robert Hume. He's an Embassy RV supporter for sure. We got Sherry, the queen of marketing at Embassy RV as an owner.
She's a queen of many, many things.
She is a queen.
Incredible.
She's really a saint on earth. Here's Gary and Patty. They're coming in from Pembine, Wisconsin. They're on next Sunday. So they're the Embassy RV owners. Gary, thank you for being here tonight. We're really excited to thank you for your photos. We're really excited to have you on next week. And Jerry, I might have mentioned to you, we're not doing What's Up Wednesday on a regular basis. We're doing these kind of more topical, owner-focused dreams come true YouTube live streams at different days, different times. And so we're just really appreciative of the Embassy family because they really step up and want to share their story, which is pretty great.
Well, Sherry said it at our meetup. She said we're dream makers, and what a wonderful thing to be able to be called in this day and time and in this industry that we are making dreams come true. And now we're matchmakers. A couple of customers met up at our meetup that had lost spouses, and so we're dream makers and matchmakers. And to me, that's just so humbling and such a beautiful thing that you get to inspire dreams and when you put your heart and soul into something, you get to make a difference in an industry that's been around for a long, long time. And we are all humbled by that and just so proud of, the family that's been created around it.
What's your matchmaking fee these days?
Yeah, they came in with big smiles on their face a few weeks back, and it's like, oh, and we had tears earlier, years ago when they shared with me because I had lost a spouse too. And I just shared with them that, there will be some happy days sometimes. You just won't see it for a while, but they're going to be out there. And she said she never forgot those words, and they just had the biggest smile. And it gave me chills, actually. It was just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Marie, who's been a van friend for a long time, and Gary, I think. I might like this one. Right here.
Absolutely.
So let's say hi to, here's Joe Rector. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Here's Deborah coming in from Philly, which is pretty cool. Here's Bob Scott, Bob and Deb. We did a YouTube live with them and you a few months back, so appreciate that.
They were just in Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's just up the road.
Yeah.
Here's April. I think she's hanging out with Sherry. They're having a van meetup camp out really in Oshkosh, downtown Oshkosh. We were there last year. So much fun. Here's Justin. He's just 5 feet away from the Cape Cod with Bill and Joe. So that is a small pooch, Bernie. So great to have you here with us. Here's April saying she's with Sherry in the Oshkosh van camp out. Van Bury, Roads of Life's excited for the new website. That's always cool. Joe, this is a nice compliment. Thanks, Scott, as you are a big reason we have a Cape Cod in production. Appreciate that. You're going to love it. I did spend the night in one last September, I think, Terry, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a cool experience. It's a very, very different rig. So we're going to have him give us a tour here in just a minute. Here, a question from Roads of Life, Terry.
Yes.
Cape Cod have a full-sized spare tire. One question, what is the AC BTU, 12 volt, 24 volt, or 48 volt battery system, and how many amps? There's our Mr. Hume with always good questions.
All right, that means Robert's going to be talking about things here soon. So we do not have a spare tire. The cutaways do not come with a spare tire from Ford. So we do not have a spare tire. There's room under there for one, but usually if somebody's going to take a tire with them, they put it on a trailer hitch mount or something like that instead of try to drag the big tire out from underneath this vehicle. So to answer that on your spare tire, the AC BTU is 13,500 BTU, and it is the Dreha 120 volt air conditioner that just is hands down the best air conditioner we've ever seen. And truly, even though it's 120 volt, it's all about the math on the batteries, and its compressor runs much less than a 12 volt one. Therefore, it wins the battle of the math. And it just gets to cool so quick. It completely shuts down, and it has a heat pump built into it. So it's quite a unique air conditioner. We are a 12 volt system, although we've dabbled with 48 volt in our commercial vehicles for surgical instrument repair. 48 volt systems aren't quite ready yet. There's a lot of learning still being done with 48 volt systems. So the 12 volt systems are just working beautifully. The second alternators are working beautifully. We'll talk about that a little more, Robert, here, and some of the things I did with this one and help Mary McKenzie that's here at the event with recharge. 12 volts just much simpler in nature than 48 volt is. So 24 volt, everyone kind of skipped past. I have one surgical out there in 24 volt, but everyone skipped back that and went from 12 to 48 when they're going to big massive systems. And they really do 48 volt because it's smaller cables and yada yada. But when it comes down to it, it's all still about math, and it doesn't matter amp hours, amp hours, or amp hours, and whether it's 48 volt or 12 volt, you still have the same math.
Yeah. And it's really a mathematics question. And I think what makes the Cape Cod so unique is the structure on the back of the chassis, which kind of acts like an igloo cooler. So that the thermodynamics is completely different, superior, I would say, to a traditional van because the thickness and Embassy has a very specific process. We can talk about that. The voice is good. Let's say hi to. Go ahead, Terry. Sorry.
Yeah, even though this is a much bigger vehicle, it actually is easier to control heat and cool in it because of our composite structure than a van would be that's a much smaller space. So yes.
Yeah, and then the central cooling, the ducted cooling it's until you experience it, you're like, wow, this is really and the Dreha from my Dolphin SS experience is just a superior unit. Has a dehumidification.
Yes.
And a variable speed fan, so it's not this low high. It's just a beautiful system. I loved it. Let's see. Ida Brown says finally made one live show. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Here's Pam. She's going to be at the VanFest tomorrow, Terry. So be sure and look at. You're kind of where are you at the VanFest?
I'm right at the entrance because I have a Cape Cod, Escape to Cape Cod. He put me right at the entrance. So when you come in, you can't miss the vehicle.
So great. Here's YouTube user. We know you in Ohio. This is great. Here's Butch and Jean. Hello, Scott and Terry. Thank you for being here, Butch and Jean. And here's John from Spokane. 92 degrees. It's pretty warm here too. 87. It's actually cooled down a little bit. It was 92, but the humidity here. John's a storyteller. He's a great guy. GEG John. Pretty cool. Thanks for being here, John. Appreciate it. Terry, let's talk a little bit about quickly on the, you had mentioned the GVWR. This is a big thing. It's really kind of it's back to math. Maybe just help us understand what it is. And some people, well, let me put this on the screen because it's all about the weight. So there's the weight of the vehicle. There's the weight of the vehicle with all the stuff, including people, water, waste. What are the difference? Some manufacturers call the OCC, occupant, cargo, and carrying capacity. So give us a little lesson on this, then we'll have you give us a tour.
So basically, the GVWR is the weight you're not supposed to go over with cargo, occupants, everything all combined. So a transit cutaway that we're in right now is 11,000 GVWR. So occupant carrying capacity is our target to be as much on that number as you can get. And we're right around 1,100 pounds right now with occupant carrying capacity. And that is after we fill up 36 gallons of water and fuel and 2 passengers. So that's a pretty good weight rating on a vehicle this size on 11,000 GVWR. So that's kind of, as a builder, you know, sometimes they only have 250 on their occupant carrying capacity. So, you know, the bigger that number is, the more you can put things into the beautiful storage that we give you. The vehicle in front of me is a 12,050 GVWR, I believe, cutaway Sprinter, and we are a non-wood vehicle. It is a nothing but wood vehicle, hand built. It weighs 16,000 pounds. The customer told me, and he had to beef up the suspension, all kinds of stuff to keep it from wallering down the road. But you know, that is just dangerously over the GVWR. The little Transit Connect that I looked at was probably about 2,000 over its GVWR. So he had to build up his suspension and shocks and all kinds of things to try to stabilize the vehicle. But the brakes and things aren't just meant to do that. So you still have, and that's some of the issues that I'm seeing here. Some of them are 500 over the GVWR they're admitting to me. And so you're seeing a wide range of these, and I'm not going to just say hand built units. There's some professional people that don't pay attention to it too, so-called professionals. Um, RVA would not approve us if we were over GVWR and we didn't have some carrying capacity. So, you know, that's why that RVA sticker is an important sticker for a buyer. We have to comply to RVIA, which is FMVSS rules that are the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards that are so important in compliance because it's about safety. So I can't say that enough. You know, we know, Scott, years ago we did the Bear Cub project, and it was a horribly built vehicle by a professional company in Maryland. And I tell people here that I'm talking to that build their own unit. In that case, even though they might be over their GVWR and they did a few things like that, they cared more about their vehicle than somebody that builds that is out for the dollar and not for the customer and doesn't care at all. I still will see a better job done by these folks than I would on some of these other so-called professionals.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The weight you just kind of take for granted. Like my Winnebago Travado fully loaded, I weighed it at a one of those cat scales and was about 8,600 pounds, which is about 4 tons. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what pounds versus tons mean. And when we were doing Route 66, I had a caravan. I was the lead van, the trail master, if you will, trail boss. And I think I had 6 vans behind me. This was original Route 66 bridge. 4 tons was the limit on the bridge. And these guys were following me right behind me the whole way so we didn't get lost. And the van behind me was smart enough, the driver, to recognize what 4 tons meant. So it was one van at a time we put across the bridge because I had no clue. If we had like 4 vans on that bridge, we would have collapsed Route 66. So weight is really important for structural of the roadway, in addition to stopping power and go power and fuel mileage, all kinds of things, right? Safety.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, in a large vehicle like this on the same GVWR as our vans, you know, we're in a really good capacity zone with a vehicle that's much larger than a van is, but it's all because of our aluminum composites and the care we put in building this composite body to keep it lightweight but structural. We've achieved a 17,000 pound roof crush test on this body now, which isn't demanded in the RV industry. I wish it was. It's demanded in the bus industry. When you carry multiple passengers, you have to do a roof crush test. So we build the same body on a bus body now on the Transit and on the E-Series Ford Cutaway. And for that, we had to do a roof crush test, but it's exact same as this. And we held 17,000 pounds without damage. That's really saying something in this industry. I wish everybody had to do that in the RV industry because you'd see some bad things. I mean, some of them would crush to the ground. I mean, it'd be that bad.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. We're gonna, Terry, have you show us inside and outside. Our next topic we want to talk about is toilets. It wouldn't be a Go Small Live Large event topic without some toilet talk. Embassy has been experimenting and continues to innovate in this space. It's probably one of the most important systems in an RV is the toilet. So you guys have you kind of forced me to do the separate tiny, which I fell in love with. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. But you got some other news and some things you're kind of experimenting with. So we want to talk toilets here.
It's not as much as Embassy experience sometimes. The separate tiny, I believe, came from Bob and Deb Scott wanting to use that, and we brought it in for them. We've had customers send us a toilet called a Clasana, Clesana, and then another customer sent us a Wrap-On, Wrappon toilet, which now there's a Wrap-On Sunny. So they buy it and send it to us. We put it in and we give them the Labio dry flush, which one of them used at a cabin they had that they wanted a restroom at. But it's actually kind of a food processor toilet that works similar in the bag structure of a Labio. So it's a roll of bag and it goes down into the bowl and it heat seals the bag and slices it and drops that bag into a drawer on each use, and it's totally sealed and you just throw away. If you use it once, that pod throws away and away you go. So a customer a week and a half ago or so that came in didn't eat her Jimmy John's sandwich all the way and she threw it in there and flushed it and it looks like it was ready to go in the freezer. So kind of interesting. We haven't jumped on board yet. We have to stock so much of something, we want to make sure, but I will say it shows promise. It's interesting, and here's another new facet of the toilet phenomenon in an RV that we tend to talk way too much about, but it is an important feature, and now there's a new player in the game.
Well, it's cool that Embassy listens and experiments and tries demos and then makes it available or not. You won't put a black water system in on purpose. And you have a few options for toilets, and it's, try that with any other mass-produced van product, and you get what you get, or you'd modify it afterwards. So I think that's one of the claims to fame of Embassy RV is it was controlled custom. I think, Terry, you called it once.
Yeah. And Scott, I have a travel trailer and I didn't have a demo done, didn't have my van done. Someday it'll be done. But I took my travel trailer to Florida with the grandkids, and my 6-year-old granddaughter loves the toilet paper, and the black tank clogged up and I couldn't get it to dump for nothing. So I had to haul it all the way back to Indiana and get hotel rooms at this point, because now you're down and out. And I had to buy one of those tote along things that you see that everyone uses with a travel trailer to put the blacks in and dump it portably, and then hook up a wet dry vac to that and actually create a vacuum to suck the stupid stuff out. And I will guarantee you that travel trailer will have one of these dry flush toilets in it before I ever have to do that again. I will never do it again. It's disgusting, and by then you've driven a week in 90-some degree weather, and there's nothing worse than having to deal with that. And I just had to, and I will not ever. I'll have 2 gray tanks. I will not have a black tank when I'm done with that thing.
Well, Robert Hume saying 25 minutes of toilet talk. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be another conversation without it.
Now so you know why we don't like black tanks, and we're gonna. I get folks that say I need a black tank. Well, they're not buying from us, or I'm not doing a black tank.
Or educate them differently, Terry.
Yes.
All right, let's have you unmount your phone and give us a little walk around the inside, the outside.
Yep.
I'll kind of go this way so we can't see the jiggles and the jingles.
It shouldn't be too bad, but let me grab this thing.
Just thanks again for being here with us on a Friday afternoon. It's summer weather, and again, if you can join us Sunday night for our wildfire discussion. If you have personal experience with a wildfire while you're traveling, I'm going to put up an email that Sunday night that you can come on and share your story, kind of an open mic night. We've done this in the past, and again, we had our Patreon Zoom about a week ago, and most of the folks on the Zoom had some experience with wildfire. I didn't know. I've personally never been touched by it, but I've been close several times. Flash floods, we'll have one of those maybe in the fall or spring, because I've been touched by a flash flood. Not fun. So join us Sunday at 8, this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Terry, it looks like you're ready to roll. Let's take a look. Yep.
Yes. So this is the coastal sand. Now we do offer the backsplash or no backsplash, which would be the light colored vinyl in place of it. So we do have both ways offering, but you see the beautiful cabinets that has the Galaxy countertop, the dark countertop with the flip up that extends the countertop. I got a little thing for VanFest here.
Yay.
So our beautiful curved wall that really opens up the living room. And then this is the new dual recliner sofa system.
That's beautiful. I
And
love the
as we
color.
go back, it's a 8.3 cubic foot refrigerator freezer, just done really well. It's insulated as good as any refrigerator can be. It's 12 volt, just does a beautiful job. There's some ice cream in there. The pantry, and this is what we started with, is a super, super large shower and bathroom with a wonderful sink. And you can see the adjustable shower head, and then it's got a closet in the bathroom, and then this one has a separate tiny toilet hidden behind here, and it slides out when you need to use the restroom, and it just tucks away and hides out of the way when you don't need it, which makes this just a huge shower.
Yeah,
We
it's just
have a vent in the bathroom that's very important. It really helps humidity and stuff when you're showering. And then the wardrobe cabinet. And I didn't put the custom bedding out because this is a sold unit, so it's all still in its wrap. But we give sheets, comforters, and all that with the bedding. So I have my bedding on this side just to lay on top of that. And then this is the quilted fabric that we have sewn as the cushions. The thing sitting in the middle are my donations for raffle for this. I've got a 32-inch smart TV and a single burner induction that will be raffled off this weekend here. So, and then this is the lagoon table that works really well as a, you can turn this into a dinette area or an office or anything with that table swiveling around, and it just tucks right out of your way when you're not using it. Panoramic view. I didn't open the back because it was glaring on the screen, but it basically is just a beautiful view all around back here in the bedroom. Huge overhead cabinets, holds a ton of clothes, wonderful lighting. We've got controls back here in the bedroom as well, and you can do it on your iPad. Soon it will be iPhone and iPad. And then this is the convection microwave. So it does a beautiful job, and we have a huge battery system. I'll just lift up here and show that area real quick if I can with one hand.
Yeah, it's always a challenge.
Yep. So this is the electrical area, and you can see it's super clean, super tidy, and that's a massive 920 amp hour battery and a 3500 or 7000 inverter, which is as big as you can go 12 volt. It's just a really, really good system.
And again, Terry,
Storage
Terry, just real quick, and the reason that's important, ladies and gentlemen, is because the big inverters allow you to run like the air conditioning and the microwave at the same time. Some don't have big enough, so yet the customer has to swap back and forth. Super inconvenient. So that's why it's
yeah,
big,
and working
inverter.
with Mastervolt, Scott, they match this system to that microwave because it's a convection microwave, so it's going to draw a little more power.
Even
So
more
this
so.
system's been matched up to work that just fine. 3000 would have been a little light for that. This one has two 4-aught grounds and two 4-aught positive cables going to it instead of one each. So it's just a real robust inverter system. And you'll see my little makeshift phone holder there, but I swiveled the front seats around. We do have a new monitor you'll see there, and you can see some folks standing behind. This is a 360 camera system. When you turn on your turn signal, it'll show you the left side of the vehicle and 360, right side if you're on right turns. And you can push the screen, and there's different settings. You can turn different views of it on. So that's really nice when you're driving because you can see if somebody's next to you. And it's just a really, really nice screen to be able to have a visual all around the vehicle. So we'll step outside. This is all the electronic system, the heater, air conditioner. This one has a powered awning on it. So we wanted to show everybody we know how to do it. So we do have an awning. I haven't been able to use it at all on this trip because the winds are just incredible out here, but we do have it. And then the beautiful touch panel. So we actually used our Squeegee today and charged this up in 45 minutes from 70. I was about 68%. In 45 minutes, I was 90%. And with the Squeegee at 1,000 RPM, I got around 200 amps of charge. Then I loaned it to Mary McKenzie just down the way in one of our Dolphin SLs, and in 45 minutes she got 99% from 70% with the Squeegee.
You'll have
So
to tell
this
us
is
about
an
the Squeegee
electronic.
when you get inside. It's super high tech.
Yeah, that was
charging
Bob
system.
Brubaker, by the way, at Peace Loving Vans that showed everybody that, and so we're all running with it. Thanks, Bob. This is electronic, so I can unlock this with my phone. I have a touchpad I can unlock or use a key. So I've been using the phone. It's really nice. You walk up and hit your phone, it unlocks your door, locks your door, so that's really nice. And then this is the Caribou Brown.
Yeah,
And
that's
then this is the wood vehicle that I talked about. That weighs 16,000 pounds on a 12,000. But yeah, this thing's just a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle.
that is a pretty color.
Yeah, it really lights up. It's a little darker on this side. When you get on the sunny side, it really lights up. And then I'll show you a little brief, somebody else pulling in, but kind of show you the area here. There's vehicles up on the hill there. And as you come around, there's vehicles everywhere you look out here.
It seems significantly more, I'm going to use the word organized than Florida event.
This is cute. It's got the Friends picture in the back inside their vehicle.
There's a bus conversion.
Yeah, there's several buses, just all kinds of things. Yeah.
Wish I was there next year.
So they have a big full building up there that they had a potluck in and do different things in, and so there's quite a bit going on. This is our storage area in the Cape Cod. It's quite large, so I do have some things back in here, but it passes all the way through. And there's storage down below too that's quite large. It's nice having the shower out here with hot and cold water, and it's heated. I was able to rinse off things for the grill out here, and you don't have to go inside every time you want to do something like that. So there you have it.
What is people's
at Cape Cod?
I know. What's people's reaction been to the name Cape Cod? Do you think they kind of connect the dots, or they're like,
They
what?
said, "Did you do that after the fact?" I said, "No, it actually wasn't planned that way. We just happened to have the trademark for Cape Cod, and it just worked out really well with this event." So the entrance is right here next to me.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's the entrance. Everyone will come through, and then we're just right off that entrance.
Terry, we saw the awning there on the top. Roads of Life has a question. Looks like there's an awning on the Cape Cod. What brand is it, and is it electronic or manual?
This is an electric awning. It does have the LED lights and all that on it. It's a Girard. We looked at all of them, and we felt that this one was very well built. You'll see a pretty good gap between the awning and the roof, and that's kind of deliberate because there's so much lift on the wind on these big awnings that we're letting the air out, so to speak, with that gap. So it will help give the awning a chance to retract in a heavy wind and get back in and not have so much lift that it just wants to hurt it. So, we're doing things like that to try to pay attention to detail.
Right. Well, it looks fun. It looks like a big group. 150 vans. That's got to be.
Yeah, I think there's like 10 vans in each row, maybe more now. They've added to it, but there's quite a few rows. So
That's fun.
Yeah. Looks like there's a brewery right next to me.
Uh-oh.
Mayflower Brewery. Oh, I am. I'm always careful.
Yes. All right, so let's get Terry back inside, and Terry will let you mount your phone. We got a couple more questions here, and we want to talk about the lithium energy just a little bit. Let me do this so we don't give Terry a minute there. And again, Gary and Patty are going to be on next Friday, a week from today, at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 p.m., I think. And that's on my website, gosmalllivelarge.com. And if you want to join us for that, they're happy to share their story. They've been living a couple of years or more now in their Embassy RV Dolphin on the Transit. A delightful couple. And we've got more owners coming up over the next few months in different types of vans. So again, I kind of took the summer off, and we are back on it. A lot of content coming your way, and I'm counting down 6 weeks to drive the van. My van is currently in the shop. Terry, we talked about this in the green room. It's a good lesson for life. If you kind of sit around for 5 months not doing anything, that would be my van. Things start breaking and decaying, and that's why she's in the shop. I had some chassis problems. So I'm counting down to end of September to get back on the road. And Terry continues to support me and the channel and our audience. And Terry, thank you so much for your continued support. We've had some really good calls and got some big plans for this year and even next year. So just thanks again for your continued support. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. You know, it's been a great ride, Scott. You know, we both are trying to do the same things as educate folks on how to make these travels possible and how to enjoy this next stage of life where you have time to travel this wonderful country and meet the most amazing people in the super little towns that you roll into that you never would have seen before. And you just never know what the next one's going to hold, you know, and it's just a beautiful journey.
It is, and life's a journey, and just a good life lesson. Sitting around kind of moaning, and I've certainly had my period here during my convalescence, if you will. But my Apple Photos delivers a new memory every day, and it takes me back. Many of those are in the in van travels, and how many great places we've been, and how many great places we have yet to go. So. Just thanks for being along for the ride. So we got some questions. I'm going to talk about lithium a little bit. And I think we'll call it a wrap. How are we doing on time? Doing pretty good. So we talked about the manual, or we talked about the awning. So Terry, JB wants to know, what is Terry using to charge his RV? Can it be used with other RVs? And maybe you can tell us about the Squeegee thing. That's kind of an interesting implementation of fast charging.
Well, I actually paid for power here, and Lance came up to me and said, I want, you know, this is a great spot, but you're a little bit, we can run several cords to get you plugged in. I said, I won't need to plug in. We'll be fine. So I've ran the engine, and this is the third day now I've been here, and I ran the engine for like 20 minutes yesterday and maybe a half hour, 40 minutes this morning, and it gets me back over 90%. What all this is, and you hear me talk about math all the time. So we have a second alternator on this vehicle that at 650 RPM, we get about 100 to 110 amps of charge from the second alternator, which equals a 15 amp power cord in the amount of energy you get through the charger that's built into the inverter. So when I can get the RPM up to 1,000 RPM, I'm getting 200 amps of charge from that second alternator. And that exceeds the 160 amps. In this one, in the Cape Cod, it's 180 amps we get on a 30 amp cord. So we're exceeding with the engine what we would get if I was plugged into a 30 amp plug right now. And the Squeegee gives us a simple ability. We put it against the headrest of the vehicle. We slide the vehicle forward, and this has a manual recliner. And you recline the vehicle till you hold 1,000 RPM, and you look at your screen, and it says you're getting 200 amps of charge. Granted, you have to take away the math. If you're drawing 10 amps at the time, it'd be 190 amps, and the other 10's going for things that you have on at the time. But the idea is, you know, solar. There's a gentleman here I was talking to, and he has 800 watts of solar on the roof of his van, and he's getting 50 amps of charge, but his air conditioner draws 80 for sitting in the sun. And that's what I talk about. You know, the math isn't great. In this spot we're in right now at 75 degrees, he doesn't have to run the air conditioner. So he's doing well with that 50 amps. In 45 minutes, I'm back up to 90% from 65 to 68% of the battery. And, you know, I use maybe 3/4 gallon of fuel doing it. So we have a 31 gallon tank. I roll in with a full tank. The Squeegee gives you the ability without any mechanical thing tied into the computer of the vehicle, which I can't say. It's so important. You know, Mercedes just is going to, they tell everyone to avoid the engine warranty now if you tie a high idle into their computer. They just are fed up with it. So it keeps you from messing with any of the computer of the vehicle, and it gives you the ability to get the engine RPM up to 1,000 RPM, get you better oil flow, better engine. It's just better for the engine at that RPM than 650. And our alternator takes over and says, I can do this for you. And when Mary did it this morning, she ran for 45 minutes, and I came back and she was 99% on her battery from 70. It just works. And, again, it's not all our ideas. Bob Brubaker was just happy as a clam showing everybody and loaning it to everybody at Peace Loving Van. And then another customer came up and said, well, I got a turnbuckle I put on the bottom of the dash, put on the gas pedal, turn the turnbuckle, and it does that also. So that's the creative nature of the family, that they're all out to, we got some pretty brainiac people in the group, and you never know what's going to pop out, and everybody gets to talk about it and share it. And it's just a wonderful part of the journey.
So it's kind of acting like your foot on the gas pedal, bringing the RPMs up to 1,000 RPM. So Roads of Life say, can we see the squeegee? Still not sure what it is. So it's like a squeegee you'd use, I don't know, in your shower to clean windows.
I've got it sitting here if I can grab it without knocking my high-tech phone holder over and not hurting my sciatic nerve that I damaged.
Terry was fighting with a sea turtle in Florida recently, and I think Terry won, but the turtle got the
No, I didn't win. The sea turtle won. So here's the squeegee. This is a standard expandable squeegee.
Good Lord.
You put this part against the headrest of the seat and the other part against the gas pedal, and you recline the seat, and it pushes on the gas pedal. You'd be surprised how hard it is to hold 1,000 RPM with your foot. It's almost impossible. But with that, you get such a finessey setting with it. You can nail it right to 1,000 RPM, and it's just ideal. The ProMaster would be harder to do because it's a pull lever recliner, so you'd probably have to pack things into it to make it happen. But the Ford has a beautiful manual recliner that makes it so easy to do that too, and it just tucks perfectly into the headrest with the rubber part of the squeegee, and you slide the seat forward and recline a little bit, and there's your high idle for $15.
Well, maybe if this RV thing doesn't work out for you, Terry, you can be a squeegee man at a Chicago intersection by Midway.
I'm going to vote Bob Brubaker for that job because it's his baby. He is an incredible person. He had the misfortune to have a stroke in his life, but he is just one of the funniest guys to be around, and he's making the most of life, and he came up with that, and he couldn't show it to me fast enough at Peace Loving Vans, and he was just glowing.
Funny. So we got some good questions here coming in. So here's this is just a big group discussion. I mean, we had some specific things we wanted to cover and show, but this is so Deborah's saying, Terry, thanks, Scott and Terry, have fun at the Cape. So you had to tap out. But here's Roads of Life again. Okay, Scott, what would you rather have, a B or a B plus? And what would everyone watching want? That's a hard one. I'd probably go for the B just because I like the stealthiness and size of a van. But there's nothing, if you just need more space, I think Bob and Deb did this, right? They were in a transit.
We've had quite a few folks do it, and a couple that met up, Marie and Gary, I believe it is. They're keeping one of their vans, and they're actually have already ordered a Cape Cod. So, the vans are nimble. There's no doubt about it. You can go anywhere, do anything. But the Cape Cod is just so comfortable and so open. And I had a customer tell me the other day in a walkthrough, the differences is a happy marriage is being able to have space so you don't get on each other's nerves too. And that's the Cape Cod.
Yeah. And I would say that the bathroom is really important to a lot of folks, including myself. And if you really want a large bathroom, large shower in particular, the B plus is just the way to go. And I think, Terry, it's an unsung feature that there's no slide outs on the Cape Cod. A lot of these have slide outs. Now you're making the vehicle larger inside, but you're kind of compressed on the outside. And so it's another set of dynamics. Have you ever considered a slide or just an anti-slide?
I built one many years ago for a fiber optic calibration vehicle that goes around and fixes, calibrates all that equipment they use for phone companies and stuff like that. And I built a good one. Yeah, I never had an issue with it. But as a rule, the slide outs are the #1 warranty issue in the RV industry. And when they get stuck out, you're not moving anymore. You can't drive down the road with the slide out. It's not going to happen. So that's the problem with them is they leak, then they rot. They don't have a no wood feature like we have. And they're just troublesome in nature. They're making them bigger and bigger, and they got to slide evenly. If they get out of whack a little bit, they don't like it. There's just so many things that can go wrong with it. We radiused all these beautiful corners in this vehicle, and Brandon did a beautiful job creating all that structure and aluminum and stuff. And when you sit at this sofa with this radius wall behind me, it doesn't feel like you're sitting in a cubby. It just opens up the whole atmosphere of the living room, and you get to walk by each other with the drop down leaf we have on the countertop. So we made things, we created things to make this work very, very well without a slide out.
Yeah, and I think that's a good, efficient space planning. Helps you kind of avoid that.
Yes,
Which
it
was
was
what you
our
guys did.
#1 thing is avoid a slide out and make this space work without it. And you literally pull off the road, and if you want to take a nap, and it's 3
Yeah,
seconds and there's nothing to do.
yeah.
I mean,
Put it in the
there's
park
no
and
prep.
you're camp. It's pretty awesome.
I tell everybody, if you roll out of bed, you're not level enough. Other than that, everything's going to work fine.
That's when your inner ear kicks in. So maybe this is a side business for Go Small Live Large. We can be in the squeegee business. Joe wants to know, where did you get the squeegee? Where did you get the squeegee? Like a Walmart or something, or
I bought that particular one at Menards for like $14 or something, but they
so
sell them at every auto parts store. You
yeah,
know, the squeegee is dual purpose. It's not easy to reach the windshield and stuff on these bigger vehicles, the Transit and the ProMasters and all
yeah,
that from the ground. So it actually is. You can use it and clean your windshield with it too. It's anytime you can dual purpose, it's a
dual
great
purpose,
thing. So no,
100%.
everybody sells expandable squeegees for the taller vehicles to be able to
Yeah.
wash their windows and stuff. So it's pretty easy to find.
And that's a good point, because I've used a squeegee on my van that, like, from Love's, and somebody put something in it that actually made the windows worse
Yeah.
because they've dumped something in it, like an oil or something. And so yeah, bringing your own squeegee, dual purpose, pretty cool. Um,
And I have
so
Windex always with me, so you can spray it with Windex, let it
yeah,
soak a little bit, and then wipe it off, and you can get the job done.
I'll be happy to sell you a squeegee, Joe.
I'm actually
I'll
giving this
find
one
it.
to Mary McKenzie, and I'll buy another one on my way home. So she fell in love with it and was just smiling this morning. I'm at 99%. So I said, I'll give you this one. You don't have to buy one.
That's funny. Let's see. Roads of Life says that's why we love our Dolphin SL. We have 2 rooms, so we can be apart when we want to be. And actually, a little space in the van is important. And it's functional and awesome.
Yeah.
For the squeegee, Robert
Yeah.
says. Uh, um, let's see. Everyone is a dream maker at Embassy, that's for sure. And that's not lost on the team, what they've helped create over the years. And you guys have some big plans over the next couple of years. So we'll share those down the road when Terry's ready to make some announcements. But
Sure.
here's Sherry saying thank you for an awesome live. Wish we were either at the Cape Cod, that would be super cool, or in Oshkosh, where we were last year. We had a lot of fans last year. Holy cow. Terry, was there, I just want to this is kind of more for the vans than for the Cape Cod, but this is kind of what Embassy's become super famous for. No wood in particular, no black tank, no propane, no dealers, factory direct. The vans in particular can be made very HOA friendly by not having an AC on top, no awning. And I just want to call this out in case folks are not aware. These folks build on all 3 chassis.
Yes.
There's kind of 2 or 3 floor plans depending on the chassis. I think Transit and ProMaster are your most popular right now. Is that still accurate?
Yes. The Transit is the most popular, then the ProMaster, and then the Sprinter behind that. There was times where the Sprinter was the king before the ProMaster and Transit came to America. The ProMaster was the Fiat Ducato in Europe, so it's been around a while, and then they Americanized it, and it came in 2014. And then I believe the Transit was around 2018 that it was released. And with its all-wheel drive feature, and it's a little bit longer, so the folks that want the bigger storage in the back for those racks and everything you see, they'll pick the Transit. But then we have other customers that want to be a little more nimble and love the fact that the ProMaster is only like 20 foot 8 inches long. And so they'll pick that one, and they're not going to be in the snow, so front wheel drive is fine. So it's just matching the right chassis to the buyer and what their travel needs are. You know, you don't need to
Yeah,
pay for all-wheel drive and all that if you're never going to use it. So
100%.
that's why we like having both of them around, and it seems to work well.
Terry, maybe just tell us quick, if you're comfortable with it, maybe price, availability, how do they get a factory tour? What's the best ways to do some of that?
Well, when they reach out to us, myself or Michaela will get back with them, and Michaela will usually set up the factory tours. We do them at 1:30 in the afternoon because our staff in the production part of the company works from 5 in the morning till 1:30, so that way the shop's nice and quiet and nobody's dragging hoses around and things. So we always do them after 1:30. And we love doing the factory tours. We'll show you every aspect of the build and why everything matters from the first point to the last point. I won't show that in video, but we love showing it when you come visit the factory. So, and you get to see the diversity of Embassy with our Salvation Army, our surgical instrument vehicles that we've been building 38 years now, to mobile kitchens. We build mobile grocery stores now. We build big shower rooms with a laundry room in the back for disasters so they can help folks get cleaned up and feel normal again as much as they can when they've been in a disaster like that. So we're fortunate enough to be able to build a lot of different things under one roof, and it keeps us very diverse. And we build buses now because of our lightweight composite body. We build one of the lightest weight buses in the industry, which can carry more passengers. And so, you know, we're a unique company, and I think that uniqueness gives us strength and knowledge also because certain aspects have to follow certain rules, and we learn things from that and share it throughout the builds that we do.
Yeah, it's super impressive, and you can eat your lunch off the floor. It's so clean,
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. Let me just kind of splash this screen. So again, embassyrv.com. Got a new website coming soon. There's quite a bit on my website, Go Small, Live Large, including our upcoming events. I'd really encourage you, even if you're not a big Facebook person, is to go to Facebook and search Embassy RV Owners and Wannabes. They have a huge community there, probably close to 2,000 people now. It's not Embassy run, it's run by owners. And they have a monthly
Yes.
Zoom. It's kind of a tech support. It's a, hey, I'm headed here, a destination, and who wants to come with me? And they've been setting up their own little vanbury, caravans. It's pretty cool. And if you're shopping for a rig and you're reaching out to the team, if you could mention me, Scott Watson, Go Small, Live Large, that helps us keep working together with Terry and the team. We just love that. And it's look at this. Bob Scott, Deb and I love our Cape Cod, not going back to a B. You spoiled them.
Yeah, I think the world of them. They're, and it's just, everyone just, again, I'm humbled by the folks we meet in every aspect of the business world. We see everything, but when it comes down to it, everyone's just out to help each other. And as a buyer, you get to go to the Embassy Owners and Wannabes Facebook group and get real answers from owners. It's not salespeople telling you, well, I think this is going to work and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. You get to talk to owners that's had them for years and say, no, it's really is working like that. And here's what I do. I think it's just priceless to get honest answers from owners rather than go to a car lot and get somebody trying to sell you something that day and doing everything they can do to get a deposit out of you. I say quite the opposite. When folks come in, it's your time, it's your place, it's your journey. When you're ready, you let us know. We're not going to call you every day and ask for a deposit. Sometimes they're a year or two out still, and that's fine. It's their journey. They get, we're not going to dictate that.
Right, 100%. JB says Scott and Terry better than peanut butter and jelly. So better together. Not saying something.
That's the first time I've heard that one.
And then here's Bob giving us a secret code to the family jewels. So I'm not sure what that is, Bob, but thank you. Terry, we're at the bottom of the hour, and you're at the VanFest in Cape Cod. If you go to VanFest, if you Google VanFest, I should have put the.
I think if they Google VanFest, it'll pop up. I don't know.
It'll pop up. Go see Terry tomorrow if in the greater Cape Cod area. I'm trying to scroll up to see.
It's vanfestusa.com.
VanFestUSA.com.
Yes.
And we'll hope to see you in Florida when they do that. Again, these are the dates. They had some nice artists doing some work there. Escape to the Cape. Go see Terry.
Yeah.
Tell him we said hi. And Terry, just thanks again for taking time out. I know you got a busy weekend with everybody coming in, and go make some friends. Are you judging this?
I am not judging, and I didn't do a seminar because and there's a lady here that was sitting in the audience of Peace, Love, and Vans when I did the seminar. She was here and said, I was in the audience. I said, I can't hear. My wife had to be the narrator for me, and we had a system going with a partner mic and stuff. And it was so tough because I'm trying desperately. So he asked me to do one, and I said, with my hearing, I don't have anyone with me this weekend, so I can't, just because I can't hear what anyone's saying in the audience. So
yeah,
that's a struggle I have. But from
No
all
worries.
the vehicles I built all my life, it's harmed my hearing. But maybe in Peace, Love, and Vans, I'm sure Bob Scott will be my ears from your Deb or somebody to help me again. But we're hoping to retire Sandy where she can travel with me more, and she wasn't able to get off for this trip. But that's our goal, is retire her at the end of the year, and then she can travel with me.
That'd be great. Travel is more fun together.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is not the code, Bob Scott's secret vault. It's the number of Embassy Owner wannabe members. So almost 3,000 members now in the Facebook group. I remember it was just a couple hundred. So good job, team, on putting that together. Again, owner-driven, not factory-driven, which is pretty amazing. So, well, Terry, just thanks again. Have a good time. Stay right there in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for a Friday afternoon with me and Terry. And again, if you are around on Sunday evening, wildfire is our topic. And the next Friday, we've got Embassy Owners, Patty and Gary come on and tell us their story, full timing in their Embassy RV. So we're really excited about that. Terry, any final thoughts?
No, thank you all for being here today and spending time with us. We enjoy getting the word out and sharing, and we're all constantly learning as well as you are. So anytime we learn something, we're going to share it. And a lot of times that learning is just keeping your mind open and all working together. And what a wonderful world it is. So
it's better than watching the news, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we'll see you Sunday night, and peace be with you. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.